Hey there, welcome to CNT Collectibles IMC. Hope you are doing well. And so, a little, not our traditional weekly chart blast thing. We're just going to have some fun and wrap up the year and look at some of the indices, some players that have done well, haven't done so well over the past month and over the past year. But mostly wanted to put something out just to say thank you to everybody. Tom and I have had a lot of fun this year doing this, and it wouldn't have been the same, wouldn't have been anything really without the support of everybody coming in, watching videos, and leaving great comments. And so we thank you sincerely for all of your support throughout the year, and you keep watching and we'll keep doing it, and we'll look forward to a fun 2022. So thank you again. Happy New Year. And with that, let's just take a look at the year that has been. So the baseball index, and a quick word about the indices here on Card Ladder. I don't know if these are thousands or millions or anything like that. I'm just seeing a number here, and with that, we can kind of see how the index has performed. And it also doesn't really include, they're adding cards all the time. So, the cards that they add during the year, is that adding to the growth of the index as well. So there's a lot of things I don't know and didn't really see on their website about this. So take it with a giant grain of salt overall, and don't get too frustrated if you weren't able to keep up, or don't get too excited if you're out to perform, because I don't understand the underlying index on this one. But it is what it is. It's what we have. And so let's just take a look and see what we see here. So the baseball index started at 6,000, 600,000, 6 million, I don't know, and finished the year at 14,000. Well, we can figure out with those numbers. You can see that the baseball index has had a little bit more than a double for the year. Right around the mid-season here, you got a little bit of bump from some guys here, and if you look at the underlying assets within that, you can see that some of the big movers were some goofy cards here, low dollar stuff, but they're putting up monster returns for the year. So cryptocurrency, real life, and in fake life, doing pretty well for the year. And egg. So I've complained a lot about egg being in here, but we can't get Xander Bogaerts or anything like that. I don't think Xander Bogaerts had that level of performance card wise. So maybe I was wrong at Card Ladder. You were right. But the big winner here, Shohei Ohtani, and the high-end Griffey, so the 1993 finest refractor, which Topps went back to the well and released that set again. Was that last year? Maybe, I don't remember. I think it was this year that their Topps finest revisited this design here. So some of those refractors are gaining a lot of momentum and had a pretty monster year. But Shohei Ohtani was your big winner in the Card Ladder world of things. They don't have every card, but that was a big mover for the cards. If you had that one, congratulations. I know Rydog was on that one pretty early on, so that worked out incredibly well. The football index started the year just shy of 20,000 to 20,000 pineapples. I don't know, and ended the year at 80,000. So call that a 4 times move in the overall index here. And people were making a huge mistake here. Adam Thielen. Now I'm an unbiased analyst here, so just happen to be a huge Vikings fan. I think if you're selling Adam Thielen, you're doing it wrong here. So anyways, a lot of the weird kaboom and on the horizon, a lot of those refractors did in those inserts did really, really well. But it was mostly a Tom Brady led year in the index. A lot of anything Tom Brady did pretty well here. So pick your Tom Brady poison, and you probably did well in the world of football cards. The basketball index starting the year around 16,000, finishing the year 33,000. Call it a double on that one. So basketball, you had your spike with everything else, and so many cards just got absolutely rocked and never really came back. But there were a few winners here, and you can see that Jahlil Okafor, Dwayne Wade, and some LeBron James. Again, you have to get into you can't really go with the base or the chrome offshoots. You have to get into some of the weird stuff here, unless, of course, you're a Dennis Rodman fan buying the Beam team, and then you had for dollar amounts, that'll have a bigger move on the index. So typically with indices, the bigger the card, the more outsized performance. You'll see that. You see that in like the Dow and the S&P. You'll have these different weightings, and they'll do really, really well because the big names are doing well. But if you have like an equal weight index, which I don't think this is, then that gives you a better view of the underlying cards here. But with these outsized moves dominated by big, high dollar cards up front, I think we're probably more cap weighted on this stuff here. So, all right, hockey 6,500 up to 14, so a little more than double, kind of baseball level performance on that one. And what we're seeing on this one is a lot of the lower priced young guns. Get these for 20, $30 or something like that, and they've had monster years on those. So the PSA 9, Raws, all that kind of stuff here. So the low price cards in the Hockey Index really, you saw McDavid and Ovechkin. They've had some really nice years as well, but they've kind of stalled out as the small caps, as it were, kind of took the lead on that one. Soccer started out at about 6,900 and finishing the year around 19,000. So call that a triple monster run up at the first quarter of the year. Then a lot of sideways action here, but putting in some new highs recently, it looks like. And so I think the big movers here, if you have one name, isn't that always the case there? Pele and Neymar, but Mia Hamm, Sports Illustrated for kids. So, the AF Alam guy who's always in the live chats, man, he's been shouting this one out. He shouts out about 300 names per live chat, but this was one of them, and he kind of nailed that one. And so you got to love that guy. He comes in the chat and everyone has the niceties like, hey, how's it going? And what are you drinking? Hey, that's a great looking purple shirt, and that kind of stuff. And this guy's like, fuck it, let's go, man. Let's get into this. We don't have time for this one. Let's go. Mia Hamm, Sports Illustrated for kids. Mary Lou Retton, Wheaties box. Dennis Rodman, ass tattoo. Whatever. So he keeps us on the straight and narrow. He's a good guy to have around. Keeps things focused. So, all right, Pokemon starting the year at about 138,000 Charizards or whatever, and dropping to 125. So showing a loss on the year. And a lot of the Pokemon cards are kind of they've been trending lower and really been traveling together, with the exception of the Blastus Hollow, and there it is. So that's your big winner for the year. Pretty decent sized priced card there. And Clefairy, I don't know, another big mover within the Pokemon world. And wrap it up with Golf here. Golf starting at 12,000 Titleist Pro V1s, finishing at 11,000 Top Flight XLs or something like that. So showing some life lately. And this is pretty much just Tiger Woods. So, Tiger Woods. So, apparently Tiger Woods cards, those got rocked. I think we have a Rory at the top. Yeah, Rory, Nicholas, but then Tiger Woods. So, not the most broad index or anything like that, but you are seeing some movement in a few cards in that particular index, especially that Jack Nicklaus. All right, let's take a quick look at some players who've had an incredible month of December thus far. So we're coming off the last day or two, but we'll just count it as December. So for over the last month. And this is their, the player, but their universe of cards. So all their cards together. So we're not just going to pick out one card, but what player are people looking at? And over the last month, Stevie Y is up about 37% with a monster pop. But we're seeing a lot of buying to kind of sustain that. So whether it drops back down or not, I don't know. But there is a lot of interest in his cards. John Wall, another one, up 44% for the month here. So breaking to right around its, not quite its not all-time lows, but lows for the year, but then an absolute rip and putting in some new highs. So he's got 19 cards in there, and they're doing very, very well, apparently. So if you're a John Wall fan, you've been holding patiently, you've been rewarded. Steph Curry, not a lot of action going on here, but they started showing, hey guys, I'm not gone yet, man. Even though the Timberwolves passed on me twice, I'm a pretty awesome player, and just a rocket shot for his cards. A lot of cards in that portfolio. The biggest movers are in the refractors and the more limited things. Those things have really gone nuts. So some of his other cards kind of sideways and even breaking down a little bit, but those high-end refractors are seeing quite a bit over the last month. So yeah, here it is right here. So the autograph and the whatever that is, Knights of the Round Gold, kaboom. So a lot of love for those high-end cards there, but for the first regular schmucks, not the same action in the regular base. Gardner Minshew, pretty decent downtrend. I wasn't doing anything all year until his named starter, and he had a pretty good game here, and now he's getting a pop. So we've seen some selling in this area here, but he's gotten a lot of love over the last month, up about 60%. You cannot tame the Minshew. And Reggie Jackson up 71%. I think this is our number one riser for players in terms of total cards, and he's right around his all-time highs. Interestingly, the 10s, the 9s, and the 2s are off a few percent, and it's everything something else driving this move, and we're starting to see some stability. So Reggie Jackson having a big month here. All right, some players for the year. Let's look at some players that have absolutely gotten crushed. And all these guys are down about 97, 98% here. So Sam Darnold, look good. There was, the trade news, as our friend Dakota has pointed out. You can always get a pop off of that. And then rubber meets the road. And, this is a card that, that's the PSA 9, a base, currently sitting around $1, down from, the high print of, what was that, about 100 or something like that, or 150. I don't even know what that is. Probably a lot higher. So anyways, whatever it is, for $1, if you can get that price, it's a pretty sizable drop. I don't even know if you can get it from there. But typically when you see these spikes, flip it upside down, when you see those spikes up, that's for selling. Spikes down, probably for buying. So maybe there's some sort of relevance for them in the off season. We shall see. Lionel Messi, his chart is pretty messy here. So as soon as the drying the transactions in general start to dry up, then you start to see volatility come in. You probably don't want any part of it, because this is the kind of stuff that can happen overall. So big spike down, which has been purchased in the past year. But again, this card over the past year down, roughly 97%. Serena Williams, no hiding, even in women's tennis here. Women's soccer looks pretty good, I guess, with Mia Hamm, but Serena can't get it done off the court anyways. So greatest ever on the court, but off the court, new lows for Serena for the year. That card, again, you're talking about a 4-digit card down to basically nothing at this point. So these are some of your biggest losers. Adam, again, people, what are you doing? This is a total mistake. All right, guys, come on now. Monster, excuse me. I'm laughing too hard. I'm breathing in too much air, and I'm coughing. All right, I promise. I'm all right here. So a big move down for Adam Thielen, one of your biggest losers on the year. LaMelo Ball, this is the cautionary tale of buying things as soon as they come out. There's very limited to almost no supply, but demand is going to be high, especially for a prospect like LaMelo. We saw this with Lubob. We saw this with Bo Bichette. Wait till more of these cards come online, and then you can start to get interested. But being that first one is not often worth it, because you're going to be a bag holder. So, anyways, trending lower, and in an area where there's been some buying, but again, it's trending lower. So do your thing with that one here, but follow the clusters, not the spikes. But you can see volatility is picked up, so be ready for some more stomach churning news. LeBron James in the high voltage with an absolute puke, just in time to make our list of one of the 10 worst performers of the year. So congratulations on your timing, King James. Again, if you can get it for that price, that's maybe something kind of interesting. Seems like more of a one-off, and we should see correction back up here. But if you're able to, if you get more sales down here, then that is the price here. And your number one faller for the year, Tyree Halliburton. So again, steady buying, but then all of a sudden volatility started to pick up as the market started to dry up a little bit and buys and sells. And then this is what you get. So again, just in time to make our worst performers list here. So again, if you can get that price, it's probably worth it, because this is probably more of your area here. So all right, let's talk about some of our biggest risers for the year. Shohei Ohtani, Topps Chrome update in the BGS 9.5. Only a couple of sales, pretty low volume, but it's at least held its price, and that's a pretty recent sale. Terrific year for the MVP. If you look at something that's a little more traded, like his PSA 10, you can see it's grinding lower in an area of support here, but kind of the top of its trend. So trend is still down, but you're in an area of support. This is kind of our target, so we'll see what happens with this one as baseball starts to ramp up just a little bit. Perhaps you get some love, and a breakout would be very, very positive. There's your chart blast right there. That's the only one I'll talk about like that. So Ken Griffey, we looked at him earlier, big pop, and he's maintained that high price here. Jason Robertson. So again, a lot of your young guns in the raw, these low priced cards, they ripped and they've consolidated, but they held. They didn't come back to visit that level or anything like that. So pretty nice consolidation. There's still a decent volume, so any one-offs are probably worth buying if you do have any of those. Wolverine, he's the best at what he does. Marvel cards had a big year. Neo's talked about them plenty, and he's been right. What a nice spot to be if you were in early, so a lot of these cards coming in for dirt cheap, and they're off their highs, but they've at least held in for the bulk part of the year to make the leaders list. And Aaron, there's the green refractor again. We looked at it, monster pop here, couple of sales. Not anything I would do with that one, but it could be an MVP, and maybe this card gets some more love as people start to turn their eye towards more limited things here. But that looks pretty darn interesting. Andre the Giant, what a monster move! Started at like a nickel, and now you're at a couple bucks. So it's Andre the Giant. I just wanted to put him on here. He was technically on the list. I try not to throw low dollar cards with no volume in there, but he was on there, so why the heck not? And our number one riser for the year in card ladder, anyways. I'm sure there's other ones, but who knows? Started the year as a joke. And the joke persisted, and then it got really funny, and you're trending down. But for the year, that counts. Here's your starting price, a couple of bucks, and now you are currently at what we're looking at, 150 or something like that. So that worked out pretty well for anybody who has the Allen Ginter crypto, or if you have the real crypto, you probably had a good year. Go get your SHIB tokens and all that kind of stuff, Dogecoin. But yeah, good year for crypto across the board, real life, fake life, all that kind of good stuff. So hey, that's what we got for you. Again, have a happy new year. Enjoy the holiday. We'll get back at it next week, I imagine. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks for a terrific year. Look forward to doing it again. Bye now.